Welcome to the Local Content Studio, an AI-generated podcast sponsored by newmedialocal.com, an AI-powered digital media agency.
Welcome back to The Deep Dive. We're coming to you from the Local Content Studio, sponsored by New Media Local.
Hey there.
So today we're looking at what feels less like a market shift and more like a survival manual for 2026.
It really does.
We're breaking down an article by Lorita Marie Kimble, who's the founder of New Media Local. It's titled, Mastering Local Brand Authority Through AI Media Production.
And this piece, it honestly scares me a little. It just lays out so ruthlessly how far behind most local businesses really are.
Right. We all know the digital world is crowded. That's not new.
But Kimball's point is that just, posting sporadically and hoping for the best, that's basically professional negligence now.
That's the part that hit me. I think of a local immigration attorney or maybe the bakery down the street. They know they need to do content. She's talking about building a content empire. I mean, that sounds massive. Do I really need an empire to sell sourdough?
It's a scary word, empire. But if you strip away the branding, look at the mechanics she's talking about. It's about volume. It's about presence. Okay.
The bottleneck has always been production. I mean, traditionally, to run a media operation, you needed a whole staff, an editor, a writer, a designer.
A team of 10, basically.
Exactly. Kimball's argument is that AI isn't just a tool to write a caption. It's that entire staff right in a box.
Let's get specific, though, because AI can sound like a magic wand. What is the actual workflow she's describing?
Think of it as the heavy lifting. You, the expert, let's say you're that attorney, you sit down and record one video explaining a complex law. That's your job.
Okay, providing the expertise.
Right. Then the AI takes that file, it transcribes it, it cuts it into 5 short clips for Reels and TikTok, it drafts a long blog post for your website.
It writes the newsletter, schedules it all.
Precisely. You aren't editing, you aren't wrestling with file formats.
So the business owner just becomes the talent.
That's it. That's the fast track she talks about. It dissolves that technical barrier so you can actually compete with big brands on volume without their budget. She throws out a number in the article that made me pause recognition across over 300 digital platforms.
Yeah.
That sounds insane. I can barely keep up with 2. How is that not just spamming the internet?
That's where her idea of the local content ecosystem comes in. It's not about manually logging into 300 sites.
It's about syndication.
Yes. And she uses this node analogy, which I think is just crucial.
Yeah, I circled that part. How is a node different from just a regular old link?
A link is just a signpost. It points somewhere. A node is more like a trap, but, in a good way.
Like a spider web.
A spider web, exactly. A YouTube short is a node. It doesn't just sit there. It pulls someone to your blog. The blog is a node that pulls them to your podcast.
So by repurposing that one piece of content, you're not just posting, you're creating 300 different entry points.
You're building a net instead of just throwing a spear.
That's a great analogy.
And because all those nodes are interconnected, they signal to search engines that you're not just a local business. You start to look like the authority in town.
I have to push back a little here, though. If I'm a consultant, my whole value is that personal connection. If an AI is slicing and dicing my content across 300 sites, doesn't it feel cold?
You worry about it looking like a content mill?
Yeah. Where's the human touch?
That is the biggest fear, isn't it? But Kimble flips that. She calls AI an amplifier, not a replacement.
An amplifier.
Think about the alternative. You're super authentic, but you're so swamped with client work you haven't posted in 6 months. Are you really connecting with anyone then?
That's a fair point. Silence isn't very authentic.
Right. Authenticity needs continuity. If you just disappear, you're not relevant. By automating the grunt work, all that editing and formatting, you actually free up your mental space.
So you can tell better stories in that original video.
Exactly. The AI makes sure the message arrives. You make sure the message actually matters.
So the machine carries a message, but the human writes the song.
And consistently. That's the absolute key.
It seems like the big takeaway here is really about leverage. The future of local branding isn't about working harder at marketing.
No, it's about building this machine that works for you. It's moving from scattered tactics to a cohesive system.
And as the market gets noisier,
the winners will be the ones who built these ecosystems early. It's a compounding asset.
Which leaves us with a big question for you to think about. When you look at your own business, are you building a content ecosystem that grows in value every single day, or are you just shouting into the void whenever you find 5 minutes?
Because the people who harness this tech today are going to own the market tomorrow.
Thanks for joining us in the Local Content Studio. We'll see you on the next deep dive.